Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. It is July 14th. I think I have a good one for you today. A little bit of a different one, but I think it'll be really good. I have got myself a nice Hamden soda, a good root beer. Maybe if you have some water or coffee, you can join me. Cheers. Remember to stay hydrated. Before I get going today, I do want to give a brief trigger warning. I am going to talk about pet loss today. For unfortunately. Um, if that is something that is not suiting you today, if you don't think you're ready for it, go ahead and close this video. I won't be offended. Maybe check out something else positive. I got a whole store of videos you might want to look at, or there's plenty of nice things you can watch on the internet. If you're not down for that content today, don't worry, I won't be offended. I just want you to have a good day. Um, so it has been a week since I talked to you guys last. If you're a regular watcher, and I gotta say it's been some week. Um, in my universe, I don't know if this is you know worldwide. I think we all have different experiences, but in my universe, a lot of dear friends of mine are going through a whole lot of stressors, a whole lot of unexpected things coming out of the woodwork, and you know, it's tough out there. People are having a tough time for a variety of reasons. If to my friends who I know well, if you're one of those people going through a tough time, I love you. I'm here for you. I'm sorry you're going through that thing. Not gonna, share everyone else's business. And if you are maybe a stranger or someone, an acquaintance, someone I don't know very well, my message to you is, I love you, and I'm also here for you. So don't be afraid to reach out if you need a buddy. And that's really going to be the topic of today. Um, but I'm going to get a little vulnerable here today. I got to model what I preach. I want to tell you a little bit about my last 7 days. Unfortunately, I had a very tough week last week. I took my 4-year-old cat to the vet because he was sick, and I was, making all the preparations to, get him feeling better again because he really wasn't doing well. He wasn't acting like himself, and unfortunately, um, it wasn't an ailment that he could recover from. Um, it was a aggressive cancer, and really it was beyond the point where treatment would have helped him. So I had to make the very very difficult decision to put my boy to sleep. Um, I love my Sammy boy, always have, always will, and whew, the day I found out, the day that I had to, go through that experience. That was my first time doing that with an animal, and my heart goes out to anyone who has experienced that, because oh my goodness, it is the most heart wrenching thing I can think of. Really, really had some tough times there, and so my boy Sawin is not in pain anymore. He's not suffering from his ailments, but my goodness, that was a very hard choice to make. But wait, Dylan, isn't this Happy Tuesday? Uh, yes, it is. I promise I'm not just sharing all of my sad stuff. There's a happy part to this. Here's where we get to the happy part. The amount of love and support that I received in that tough time was incredible. Um, beyond anything I could have hoped for. Everyone jumped up to assist me, whether it was happy messages or consoling messages or messages of empathy or taking me out to get my mind off of it or hang out with me. I also had a bunch of friends come over and kind of give Sam some goodbye pets, some goodbye treats, and really filled his last day with a lot of love, even though he was not feeling his best, and it was tremendous. Um, so thank you to anyone who was a part of that. If you sent a message to me, even if I didn't respond, I probably read it 15 times. Um, I ran through all of the messages people sent me many times. They helped me tremendously. Um, and you know it objectively it wasn't good. It wasn't a fun time. I'm still in pain. I'm still mourning my buddy. I cried more than I can remember in the past. I cried harder than I can remember in recent history. Um, but I never felt alone through any of it. I never felt like I was going through it alone, and I never felt like it was only my burden to carry. And that's why I want to segue into the second half of today's video. I want to talk a little bit about social support and the importance of a strong social network. Um, I did a little bit of research going into today. I'm going to link a couple things down below if you want to read what I read and more. There's plenty out there. Um, but the first thing I want to mention is that social support, like having people in your life who provide that social so I guess social support to you has tremendous effects on your body. It lowers blood pressure, it lowers your cortisol, which has cortisol really wrecks your body. It's the stress hormone. Lower perceived stress. Even tough things seem less stressful when you have friends around you or some kind of social network around you. And people live longer, significantly longer, when they have high levels of social support. The framework that researchers have come up with is that social support comes in kind of six flavors or six things that they can do for you. Things, six different emotional kind of avenues that they can provide you support with. And these are, one is attachment. So this is the idea of emotional closeness with another human. The second one is social integration. That's the idea of being part of the feeling that you're part of a group or a community. Three is opportunity for nurturance. This is the opportunity for you to feel responsible for someone else. This is kind of you giving back to the opportunity to give back to people that can rely on you. The fourth one is reassurance of worth. Friends are great for reminding you that you are worthy, that you are competent, that you have skills. Five is guidance. This is practical advice or information that your friends might have from their lived experiences, from their knowledge. Just useful to have someone, get advice from. And the sixth angle is reliable alliance, meaning the feeling that when things get tough, when you need friends, that they will back you up and you have kind of a group behind you that's willing to go through it with you. Um, and I am so blessed to have felt that. The interesting thing about the positive effects of social support is that research shows even if your friends or your social network, friends, family, loved ones are providing these things to you, it doesn't have the positive effects on your health unless you perceive it to be the case. That you perceive that these people are here for you, which I found extremely interesting. You have to kind of know that your friends are there, and that's when you get the positive health benefits from social support. So, you're thinking, okay, you just said a whole bunch of stuff. How can I use this? Is there any practical way I can apply this? Um, yes, there is. Um, so the last thing I want to talk about is your social support network. I don't know. I don't know who's watching. I don't know who's listening. I hope you have a varied social support structure, um, or at least a couple really strong pieces to it. I went through a period of time around late pandemic where my social circle shrunk. Um, at least the effective social circle shrunk pretty tremendously. Um, and I had to put in a lot of efforts to rebuild that. It was an active choice to invest in relationships, to reconnect with old relationships. I put in a lot of work, and at least in my experience, it fully paid off. You need friends for times like this, times that are difficult, and there's so many stressors out there that will come at you, and everyone has their own, and they come randomly or all the time. Friends are so useful for so many situations. Um, so I would say put in the investment into your social circle if you're feeling like um, it's not quite where you want it to be. Uh, I will say it's tough to meet new people, but there are plenty of ways out there to meet new people. Usually through shared hobbies or investing in your community. There's a good way to find more people. But even the friends that you have, um, there's there's levels to how close you are to them. And if you want to increase the closeness of your relationships that you do have, I found the key is to be vulnerable. Um, it's tough to do. It's tough to put your feelings out there. It opens up the opportunity to be hurt. To you really have to give your trust to the other person. But I have found, and I think research backs me up on this. My therapist surely suggested that it did. That when you are vulnerable, the reciprocation comes right back. If you are vulnerable, your friends will feel comfortable in being vulnerable with you. And then it's a positive feedback loop where both of you end up being closer to each other, increasing that level of trust, increasing that level of bond, increasing the support that you feel from that person. Um, so it takes some effort. It won't happen overnight. But if you actually think about, hey, I want to, you know, increase the or the quality of my social support or social circle, you can do that. It takes some effort on your part. The last thing I'll say is you try to model the friends that you want to have. Um, I've had great success in doing so. The things that I would like from a friend, I try to model as often as I can. No one's perfect, but I try to exude that so that um, others can see what I need, what I mean, kind of I'm expecting. If you are not getting what you want from the friends you have, and putting this effort's not working, maybe there are other people out there who can give you the kind of support that you're looking for. It's going to be different from person to person, but if you act the way that you would like to kind of it for it to be returns to you, in my experience, it is returns to you. Um, I've been rambling for a while. I hope that you find some value in what I've said today. Um, Once again, this life is hard. Things are going to come at us. Um, some of those things are going to be tough to handle, but they're easier to handle with friends. That's why they're there. I am so blessed, so happy to have the social support that I do. I thank all of you who reached out. And I hope you take a little bit of time this week to think about your social circle. Maybe, you know, set up a time to get a little closer to one of your friends or family members. And I think you'll feel better for it. So, regardless whether you follow anything I said, I hope you have a wonderful day and a great week. I'll see you next week.